Lesson 5 introduces the concept of paired words. Paired words are word pairings which almost invariably cause problems for our students. And for this reason they need a slightly different approach. If we turn to page 53, our control page, we can see at the top of the page 4 word pairings written in bold. Off and of, were and where, the 2 theirs, for and for. Because these words are so difficult and confusing for our students, they need a slight difference in approach. Now if we turn to page 60 to 65 of Stairway to Spelling, there's a section about paired words which describes the difficulties that some students have and the way that we deal with them. On page 64 there are some tips and for word analysis and memory aids which may help to guide your student through the RAWS process when you're dealing with paired words. So it's a good idea for the tutor to consult these pages before introducing paired words into the RAWS process. The difference with paired words only affects the way they are taught in the RAWS process. So if you take the RAWS form from the flap at the back, fold the form so the words are hidden as usual above row D, place the form in front of your student. If you turn to page 62 of Stairway to Spelling, the section on paired words, you'll see that the order in which we dictate the words for our student to spell on rows D and E is very important. You'll see here in example 1 on page 62 of the paired words section. The 2 paired words we are dealing with here are were and where. So for rows D and E, I recommend that you dictate the words to your student in this order. So say to your student before you begin that there may be some words more than once. And then say to them, spell were, spell many, with, spell were, spell great, spell each, spell where, spell have, spell do, spell where. By inserting 2 words in the dictation between each paired word, it forces your student to apply the strategy that you want them to apply to tell the words apart. In the case of were and where, we say that where has the chair, so that the H in where forms the shape of a chair, and the rhyme where chair indicates that the student should place an H, a chair, in the spelling of where. So the H in where is like the shape of a dining room chair, and the rhyme where chair indicates that the student puts an H in the spelling. With were, of course, were chair doesn't rhyme, and then the chair, the H, is left out of the spelling. So turning to page 53, our control page, we're now going to introduce 2 paired words into the RAWS process. We need 6 normal negatives from the grey shaded area and 2 paired words to make up our 8. So in this case, on the RAWS form, we could choose off and of as our 2 paired words, and then we want 6 negatives from the shaded area. Of course, by negatives I mean words which have a dot in the last column, such as with, so I'd write with, and then 5 more words. We have which has a dot, and then we can choose 4 more words which have yet to go through the RAWS process and have yet to be taught. For example, your, his, was and or would all be written on the RAWS form in row A. Now take your student through the RAWS process again, remembering just to change the word order for rows D and E. That concludes lesson 5.